I think it feels a little bit different. It's the first time around for everybody. We're having 2 signing days. Maybe a little bit anticlimactic, but still have to finish out a good class, and we did a nice job of finishing out that 2018 class.
Most talented class you've been?
Since we've been here, yes, sir.
Mike, Coach, how did having the early signing period impact your strategy or approach to recruiting over the last couple of months?
It just speeded everything up. I have to kudos out to the staff. They did a fantastic job. It speeds everything up in the process. You're doing a lot of recruiting at the back end of the season, which is not really what every football coach wants. But you got to find a way to balance those two things because you got to coach and you have to recruit. And that's part of the job. And I thought those guys did a nice job handling all that.
Steven?
First time we talked to you since December. You got spring ball coming up. Any kind of gauge as to how available Eric will be for that?
I saw Eric the other day in the training room. He's a green light go from the trainers. He should be able to go through all of it.
How do you plan on kind of splitting up reps between him and Tommy? What's kind of your goal to learn, kind of from the quarterbacks this spring?
We're going to do like we do every spring. We're going to work all our quarterbacks because all our quarterbacks need to get work, and we got to find out where they're at. So all of those guys will get work.
I know it's always a competition for everybody, but do you view that as a real battle there? Or is Eric kind of the incumbent?
You mean between Rex Culpepper and Amy Chance and Clayton? Yeah, I think all those guys are going to be battling with those guys.
Anyone else playing quarterback?
2 other cats.
Other questions? Andrew?
A lot of players from the DMV area, particularly Washington, D.C. Is there anything beyond just sort of that, just a group of players you guys were interested in that sort of drove recruiting in that area and sort of trying to create a footprint?
No, I used to recruit that area when I was at another institution that was in the ACC. I think there's fantastic football players there, just like there's fantastic players in the state of New York. We'd had our best outing with ranked players in the state of New York. We got 4 really good football players. We tapped into New Jersey a little bit. So we think that we're doing a nice job close to home, and that's one of the areas that we feel is really close to Syracuse, and we should be recruiting hard.
Are any of the players from that area that know Ed Hendricks is a big one?
I can't hear you. You have to speak up a little bit.
Ed Hendricks, big name receiver, I think, this class, and then Juan Wallace has enrolled early. Any chance we see those guys playing early at kind of positions of need?
If they're capable, we've played a lot of freshmen in the last 2 years. If those guys are capable of handling it, then yeah, they will play early.
Nico?
Coach, when you mentioned obviously the differences between having an early signing day now and this one, are you a fan of the new setup?
Yeah, I think it works out. It's harder on the coaches, but to know exactly what you're going to have in December, and then to know what you're going back to supplement the rest of the class in February, I think is really good. And I really believe that eventually this thing's going to move to where you won't have the second signing date. It'll just be one signing date in December, and then it'll be like an open market on the back end. But we'll see. The NC2A and all those presidents and those guys will vote on how we're going to do it. But I think it's going to end up going that way.
Nate, with the 2 transfers you brought in, Jackson and Adams, did you almost look at those as part of this class?
No, because they're not eligible. Both of those guys have to sit a year, and if they're going to sit a year, we look at them more in the class after that than this class.
I guess just what went into the decision then, knowing that you get a couple years of eligibility with them on the back end?
Both of those guys are young players, and I think that they'll be able to help us in 2 years.
There's a transfer rule kind of floating around. The AFCA recommended that transfers be immediately eligible. Are you well versed enough in it to know that if that would get approved in August, that those guys would possibly be grandfathered into that rule and be eligible?
I am doing a lot of homework on that. I don't believe it will pass this year. I believe that, and I can be wrong, but I believe that this year it'll stay the way it is, and if something's going to happen, it'll probably happen the year after that.
Mark?
You just mentioned you played a lot of freshmen your first couple of years. How much does this class kind of help, you don't have to maybe play those freshmen and kind of, get that depth that you've been talking about?
Mark, I think you're exactly right. This is kind of the break class right here, and we've got good players on the team, and these guys the freshmen have to really come in and show that they're going to contribute for them to be able to play. If not, then they're going to, meaning what I mean by they're the break class, these are the guys we're going to start redshirting and building up that foundation and building up that depth chart. So they need to be really good if they're going to play this year.
Spartans quarterbacks coach, kind of a family tie there. Curious what the process was like. Was there any hesitancy on your part to bring someone in who's tangentially kind of related to you?
Technically not related to me.
Well, you know.
What are they? What's the relationship? Tell me exactly what we are. What do we call that? Because I don't even know what we call each other.
So your daughter married his son.
Well, yeah, but that's.
There's a personal tie, however you want to describe it, but that's something that's in your staff now, right? Is that something that you had any hesitancy going through, or something you just checked out and thought about, at least in the process?
You know, the biggest thing is I want to hire a person with high quality, high cloth, and that's what I look for in the coaches on my staff. What kind of young men they are, what kind of men they are, and how they're going to relate to other players. And, you know, you always want to get the highest profile coach you can get. And we were looking at pro coaches, we were looking at college coaches. But if you go back and check our history, our first quarterback coach was an offensive coordinator at Temple High School in Texas. He had never coached Division I football before. Came on the staff, we trained him for 3 years, and then he was the offensive coordinator at the University of Texas. Our next guy never played college football, never played quarterback, and, you know, 6 years before we got him, he was a graduate assistant. We trained him into a quarterback, and now he's the head coach at Kent State. When you look at it, Kirk's got a heck of a lot more experience, knowledge, than both of those individuals. So I think when we get him here and we train him to what we like to do on offense, I think we're going to have a higher quality, a sharper, sparkling diamond than we had with the first two. And I think we'll continue to move on to having great success with that position, with the type of people, the type of men that we put to represent us when they're coaching our quarterbacks.
So to follow up, you now have one co-offensive coordinator, and you got Kirk and Kavanaugh coming in. Is someone else going to be a co-OC, or is Mike Lynch?
Mike Lynch is going to be the coordinator. He's not going to be a co right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Maria.
Coach, another year in the ACC, was recruiting any different for you, knowing, you know, the caliber of players that you're going up against game in and game out?
I think so. You know, the more and more you're in the league, you realize what you need and maybe what you don't need. I think this class represents that. You can see that we're getting a lot more size. We're getting taller DBs, longer, rangier wide receivers, and our linebackers are a lot more stout. So I think that not only the going through the league has helped us, but it's also helped the coaches going against these teams for 2 years and knowing what we need to be successful here.
Mark?
Can you speak specifically about Caleb, second straight Under Armour All-American? I don't know how to pronounce the last name, so I'm going to try.
I got it.
Okechukwu?
Okuchukwu.
Okay, so speak about him a little bit and what he brings, and if you see him being a defensive lineman or maybe like a rush outside linebacker, or what do you see?
I think he's going to be a part of a really fine defensive line class, and together, when those guys get underneath, to get their tutelage from Coach Reynolds and Coach Stannard, I think that we're going to have an opportunity to have some good players. But I don't think just because he's in the Under Armour All-Star game that he's one of our best prospects. I think he's one of our most well-known prospects, but we think all our prospects are really good.
Andrew?
I think sort of going into this class, people look at wide receiver, linebackers, positions of needs, just losing lots of graduation, stuff like that. How do you feel with the players you got? What was assigned in the early period? How do you sort of fill those needs or any other needs you guys felt?
I think they're athletic young men. I think they have the ability to play early. We're going to have to see if they can mentally handle the challenges. And I think that's always the hardest thing with a freshman. Some of them may not physically be there, but it's the mental challenge of going to school and being able to compete every single day. And if they can meet those challenges, then they'll have an opportunity to play early. Sometimes it overwhelms them and they need to redshirt a year before they can figure it out.
Time for a couple more questions. Stephen?
You still got a few spots to fill before summer winds up. Is there a position you still kind of want to address?
No, I think we're more, best available, kind of how we did it the last 2 years. Maybe look for a transfer if somebody's interested and they want to get a degree from Syracuse University.
Any final questions for Coach? All right, Dino, thanks.
All right, you guys be careful in that snow now. Now, this is the very first day that this is the snow that everybody was talking about when I got here. I haven't seen this before. It's outstanding. You guys have a good day.